Okay, hello and good morning. Welcome everybody to this webinar. This webinar, the topic is going to be the dual LAN of our Safire smart recorders, how to use the dual LAN recorders, or why should you use a dual LAN NVR. Here's just the course agenda. Here just a few points, what we're going to talk about. As I said just a few seconds ago, like why should you use a dual LAN NVR, the different types of dual LAN models. A little bit more, we're going a little bit more into the explanation of a PoE switch and the crucial functions of our PoE switch, or it's a crucial device in our network, which we should definitely put a little bit more attention to it. Then we go into the physical connection, how we're going to connect our NVR with our switching and router devices, specifically how to connect the second LAN, and also how can we access our second LAN. We're gonna, and then at the end we're going to talk about the demo. How can we access the devices specifically with our Reyee switching and router devices, and just going to show you how easy it is basically to access our devices from the Reyee cloud itself. So this is basically what we're going to talk about today. And I would say let's just get started and let's get into it. First up, we're going to talk about some key features or some key points. Why should we choose a dual LAN NVR? Basically, we have here 4 points. Point number 1 is basically multi-address configuration. So you can separate networks. So it allows you to connect an NVR to 2 different networks due to the 2 different due to the 2 network cards of the NVR. We have a second point, which is important. Depends on how you apply this. You can also have it as a faulty or fault tolerance. So basically you can have a backup connection. If your main network fails, you also have a backup connection. So this would be point number 2. Load balancing could be an important point here. So it's basically efficient traffic management. Distributes network traffic across both connections. And I think number 4 is definitely an important point here. A dual LAN recorder or a recorder with 2 network cards can basically enhance your security by isolating the 2 different networks. So it's basically keeping the security network or the IP cameras separated from your main network. So you can definitely then separate the main network so nobody can access your security system. Definitely an important point here, by keeping your security system isolated from the main network. Here we have just two devices, 2 examples of Safire Smart NVRs with 2 network cards. These features I've just talked about definitely make sense. Particularly useful in larger surveillance setups or environments, just to enhance the network and the reliability and the performance in critical infrastructures. Exactly, this is basically why you should choose a dual LAN NVR. Then next up, we're going to talk a little bit about the PoE switch, a little bit about what does this device actually do and why it's so crucial to choose the right PoE switch for your network. Here just a few basics. First up, so what is PoE? Power over Ethernet. It's a switch or a device which can transmit both data and electrical power over the same Ethernet cable. So this PoE switch this device allows IP cameras, VoIP phones, wireless access points, etc., to receive power, but also data through one single cable, simplifying the installation, as it says here, reducing the need of an additional power cable. Definitely makes it easier to set up everything. Then let's talk about a few key points here, why a PoE switch is so crucial in your network. So the switching capacity specifically of our devices is crucial, or is crucial in general in a network system. What does it do? It basically determines the maximum amount of data a switch can handle at any given time. So here a few key reasons why it's important to choose the right switch. So the 3 points, the three key points I want to point out here are basically the data transfer speed. So the higher switching capacity allows you faster data transfer between devices. Within the network, this basically ensures you smooth data transfer between the devices. Obviously, handling high data volumes is important. As our networks constantly grow, you have more bandwidth. So basically, you have to have a device with high switching capacity so that it basically helps you to prevent bottlenecks and prevents you with efficient data transfer. So this is also a key point here. And then scalability. So a switch with high switching capacity can support the expansion of a network. Also a little bit like what I said in point number 2. So you can basically just add more devices to your network, and it can cover basically higher data volumes. You can switch between devices. Those are basically a little bit those 3 key points here. Exactly. Let me see here in my notes if I have anything else I want to add to it. What I want to specifically add here is the device we have chosen here to show is this RG-ES220GS-P, which is definitely a device we would recommend for your installation if you want to use a dual LAN NVR. As you can see here, with all the way up to 16 ports, and also we have 2 SFP ports. We're going to talk about this just in a minute, why this device could be a good choice for your installation. But before that, let's go a little bit more into technical part of what does a PoE switch actually do in your installation or in your network, and why is it so crucial to choose the right device. Basically, what we have to talk about is 3 key points: is routing, forwarding, and switching. So what is routing, forwarding, and switching? Those are basically essential points of processing data or moving data between devices. Routing. What is routing? Routing involves a determined path where data can travel between 2 devices. Then next up, what is forwarding? Forwarding is basically an act of receiving data from one device and sending it to the next device. So another crucial point. And then we have the switching. Switching refers to processing and directing data from one device to the other within the network. And also here, what is important, it's ensures a path, a specific path between devices, so we can predetermine the path between the devices. So those are basically the 3 points: routing, forwarding, and switching. Here again, just to summarize it, what routing, forwarding, and switching basically is, just here written down here. If you want to have the PowerPoint presentation later on, just get in touch with us and we can send it to you. Obviously, you can read it again at home or at your office. Exactly. Here, just some additional information about switching capacity, about the forwarding rate, just also to give you a little bit of an example to understand a little bit more. So the definition basically of switching capacity, which is a key point, is basically the total amount of data that a switch can handle in a second. That one is measured in gigabytes per second. To give you just a little example, for example, if a switch has a switching capacity of 48 gigabytes per second, that means it can handle 48 gigabytes per second of data traffic any given time. So this is important to know. What is forwarding? What is the definition of forwarding? Sorry. So this is basically the number of packets a switch can process per second. This is measured in millions of packets per second, or the short term is Mbps. You might have heard that before. Just an example here. So if a switch has a forwarding rate of, for example, 68 Mbps, it can process 68 million packages per second, regardless of the packet size. So this is basically just to give you a little bit an example, what is switching and what is the forwarding rate here in our PoE switches. Let me just check if I've covered here everything. Just a little example or a performance impact here. So basically a switch with a high switching capacity but low forwarding rate might struggle with small packets. But while a switch with a high forwarding rate can handle a large number of packets efficiently, even if they're small, just as an additional information to routing, forwarding, and switching, just to give you a little bit of additional idea what the switch actually is doing in our network. Great. Then let's go on to the next slide here. That one is a funny one, but also important. Just a small example to basically know what not to do. And what I want to add to that is, or what we're going to talk about here is basically why is switching capacity so important. When we talk about switching capacity and forwarding rate is based on package size. And the package size is always variable. So therefore, basically the switching capacity and the port speed is leading or is more important than basically the forwarding rate, because it's hard to measure, like I just said, because the packet size is always variable. Here, for example, we have a sample just to give you a little bit of idea how much traffic or what type of traffic is going through our switch and what type of device you should not use. Let's, for example, just take a 64-channel NVR, which has a total bandwidth of 64 megabytes. This basically should work with every switch. But if the uplink is just not bigger than 100 megabyte and the switching capacity of 1.2 gigabytes per second, we do have an issue because the uplink port of the switch is limited. So this specific device might work for just a single, a 4-port NVR with maybe 4 or 8 megapixel cameras. But we should not add more devices because we're probably going to have issues here because of the limited uplink. Like I said here, this specific device, the RG-ES106F, might not be the right device for this type of installation. And you can also do your own calculation to see which device might fit for the installation here. I'm going to show it to you later on in the demo. There's an online calculator where you can basically calculate with the number of ports and the forwarding rate. You can calculate your network switch for forwarding rate, just to be on the safe side. So this is just an example, basically what not to do. Next up is just the conclusion then. Here again, the device we would recommend, the RG-ES220 GS-P, which is definitely a switch, a PoE switch is capable of handling all that traffic with the additional 2 SFP ports as I said, like fiber optic ports. So if you have a bigger installations, for example, with bigger distances to cover, you can connect two devices with the SFP ports. So this is an additional feature which has this, which the switch has, and exactly which makes it a good choice. Here again, back to the conclusion. The switching capacity, like I said before, is crucial in our network. It basically determines the maximum amount of data a switch can handle at any given time. And here again, a few key reasons why this is so important. First up is the data transfer speed. So the higher switching capacity allows you to transfer data way more faster between our devices within the network. So it ensures a smooth data transfer. The handling of the high data volumes is a crucial point as well. Especially our networks are growing. We're adding more devices, more security systems, for example, which increases the bandwidth in our network. So therefore, it's definitely important to have a switch with a higher switching capacity to prevent bottlenecks. So that basically maintains a good working network and an efficient network. And the last key point here, or the key reason, is the scalability. A switch with a high switching capacity can basically support the expansion of the network again. You can add more devices. You can basically manage just more data volumes in volumes in general. So this is basically just a little bit the conclusion why you should choose the right switching device together with the Dual LAN NVR. Okay, then let me just check. Next up would be then we're going a little bit more into the physical connections. How to actually connect our devices. How to connect the second LAN with our switch or our router. Here I have a pretty simple illustration how to do this and a step-by-step guide basically how to do it. Here first up we have our NVR, as you can see, with the 2 LAN ports, and here we have additionally 16 PoE ports. And then what we're going to do first, we're going to connect our router or switch into our network. Therefore, we have a connection here at the right bottom. You can see that one comes from our main network. We connect it to the uplink of the device. And then next up, we're going to connect our switching device or our router. You can take any LAN port here and connect it to the LAN port 1 of our NVR. Exactly. And then we said before, we want to separate, or we have a dual LAN recorder to separate basically our security system from the main network. So we're having our main network here connected to our router. We're going to the LAN port number 1 of the NVR. And now we're adding our PoE switch to the network and connecting it to the LAN port number 2. And then we have our IP cameras on this PoE switch. You can show here, we can see here in this slide. So basically like that, we have our IP security system separated from the main network. So what can we do additionally to that? Because how can we access, for example, our second network or the second network card of our recorder? What we can do here, we can basically add an additional router from Reyee to access our devices. Pretty simple. I'm going to show you that later on as well, but here just to show you how to connect it basically. So additionally, what you can do here, we're just going to add another router In this case, it's a Reyee router EG105G. So what we're going to do here, basically, additionally to that, what we can do, we can connect from our main device we have here. We can connect a cable to the one port of the Reyee 105 router. And then from there, for example, taking the LAN port 0, we go on to our PoE switch. This gives us the option, as I just said, to access our devices through the Reyee cloud. Here, just a little example. As you can see here, for example, we have here 3 devices already connected or added to the cloud. We have a camera. We call it here camera 1. We have the Safire Smart NVR, as you can see here, with the inside host 192.168.111.5. So this is the IP address of the second network. So the second network card of the recorder, plus here another additional camera, which in this case is the ECP camera. Just to show you how easy it is to connect. Okay, so then next up, just here additionally, just how it would look like, but I'm going to show you that later on in the demo. Here, for example, we access through the cloud the Safire Smart Camera directly. We can also access the NVR through it. As you can see here, this is the Safire Smart NVR, and also here, for example, the ECP camera. So this is a big advantage, adding also a secondary router to your network to access devices through the Reyee cloud itself. Okay, great. So that was just a short PowerPoint presentation to give you an idea why to choose a dual LAN NVR, and also to put a little bit more attention to choosing the right switching device. As I said here before, I have here just an online calculator where we can calculate our network switch forwarding rate here, as we can see the MPPS, with the number of ports and the forwarding rate of each device. For example, here, so we talked about the specific device here, for example, here, that one we should not use, and the other one we can use. We can here basically copy this and make a calculation. We copy this. We can go to our cloud. In home, we find all the information of the products from Reyee itself. Go into product, and we have here our device. This is the device we would recommend, and we have here all the important data we need. And if you want to make additional calculation here to check what is the forwarding rate here, we just can get our information here from the Reyee cloud itself, take it out, fill it in, and here make it additional calculation. It's just additional to it. Then before we go into the demo on how to actually access our devices, I would also point out here something's really important before we set up our network is or our dual LAN NVR. My colleague Ferdi has created an Excel sheet to make it as simple as possible to set it up and to have a great overview how to set up everything basically. So therefore we have our sheet. So here, just to make it easy, we have a following question for the IP ranges to fill in. So pretty great. So we can say, hey, what is our main network IP range? What is the IP camera range? We can fill in. And if you're using an NVR with PoE, we can also fill in here the PoE range of the NVR. And additionally to that, what we can do is then we have here, we have it pretty visual with colors. We have here the PoE range. We have the switch number 1, the range. And if we just, let's see, switch 1 and switch number 2. We also have so we can basically fill in everything before we set it up, and then later on this is going to help us to not having issues or struggling with IP ranges, etc. Just to have better overview. So when we set it up, we know what we have to set up. Okay. Then next up is going to be basically I'm going to show you how to access our devices. After we have it physically connected and we have added our devices to the Reyee cloud, it could look a little bit something like that. So we have here our gateway, plus we have a switch. And now what we want to do, we want to access our devices from the network, from the second network card. Therefore, we have two options. First option I'm going to show you is the easy option, basically, which is the one you can basically pre-configure. So what we can do here is we can go into the device configuration and we can go into NAT traversal. This is what we have seen before in the PowerPoint presentation. Here, as you can see, we have the three devices I've shown you with the inside host or the IP range of the network card. How to add those devices. What is really important, you have to give all the devices a fixed IP address because you need to know the IP address. What we can do here, therefore, is we just add a tunnel by selecting our devices which are connected. If those devices are not showing up here, and we cannot select the client here, we can here just add the inside host IP address plus the port, and we can give it an app name. After we have done that, those devices will show up here, pre-configured, with the option to access it directly, and also the option to enable it and disable it in any given time. Here, for example, I have now all three of them enabled, and I can create a tunnel directly to the device. Here, for example, our Safire smart camera, as you can see, admin. Let's see if I know the password. There we go. So this is our Safire smart camera. As you can see here, that's the device. And if you go into the network configuration, you can see here the following range of the second network card. We're going to see now also in the NVR if we access the NVR. So we have accessed the camera. Now we go into the NVR itself. And we're going to log in here as well. Let's see. Okay, what we're going to do first up, we're going to go into the network settings. Therefore we're going to go into network TCP IP. So you can see that's a dual LAN recorder. You can see it here right away. You have the Ethernet port number 1 with the IP range 192.168.110. And then we have the Ethernet port number 2 with the range 111, as you can see here. Here also in the camera, 111. So basically, we've just accessed our NVR through the second Ethernet port. Exactly. And also we can see here all the cameras. If you go into the list itself, they're going to show up here. As you can see here, they're all in the range of the second network card with 111. Here just a couple of cameras we have added. And we can also do that here with an additional camera. For example, here we just go add to configure. And for example, we access our ECP camera. But actually, we can basically here access our camera directly through that tunnel directly. Live display here, you can see all the cameras we have added. Here, for example, we go into 4. Exactly here, as you can see, all the cameras here. Also here, a great overview with the colors, the different types of brands here we have added just to check how good it looks. Exactly. So this is basically one option how to access the devices. You can also do it manually, a little bit easier, but just for example, for a one-time connection, you go into the devices, we go into our gateway, and what we can do here, we can create a tunnel here directly through our gateway itself. Therefore, what we have to do, we have to create a custom tunnel. We have to know our IP address. We fill the IP address in, plus the destination port. We create a tunnel. As you can see here, the custom tunnel is here just creating. Then we have it connected, and we can click on go. We get our we get the needed information to access the device. We copy this, fill it in our browser, and we're going to delete this information we don't need, and then we're just going to access our NVR Safire smart camera, for example, right away. So those are the two options how to access the devices to the cloud when they are on the second network card. Yeah, there we go. You can see here, that's the code. Okay, then let me just check my notes, but I think that's basically it. This is just giving you an idea how to use a dual LAN NVR, keeping in mind that you have to choose the right switching device, and also keeping in mind what advantages a dual LAN NVR can have with enhanced securities and separating your network, for example, or also like having a backup. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want to know more about our security products, subscribe to the Visiotech channel and activate the notifications to always stay updated on the latest videos.